Good evening. Welcome to Hope City 7 at 7. Want to welcome everybody that will join, that's joining us now. I just want to say we love you and want to be a blessing to you. So, this last Sunday, Pastor Dell preached, ministered on another one of the vital signs, and the vital sign that he ministered on was prayer. And he said, prayer is like breathing. And I really do like that, man. Prayer is like breathing. You can't last very long if you don't breathe. So it's very, very important to keep breathing, and it's very, very important to keep praying, especially now. I mean, even more so now than I think ever before. We need to keep our hearts toward God through prayer. Now, Pastor Dale talked about in the Sunday message, one of the first things he talked about was there two man made things in heaven. The first that he said was the scars on Jesus, his hands, his feet, the beating that he took. We see that in Revelations where it talks about him. The other thing was the prayers of the saints. Now, this is in Revelations chapter 5, verse 8. It says, "Now when he had taken the scroll, the four living creatures and the 24 elders fell down before the Lamb, each having a harp and a golden bowl full of incense, which are the prayers of the saints." Think about that. Now, what's really, I think, is fascinating about this is that he didn't put it in a wooden vessel. He didn't put it in a glass jar. He put the prayers of the saints in something very precious, a golden bowl. The only thing that I think has more value than that golden bowl is where the prayers come from, and that's the saints. Because Jesus laid down his life to open up heaven's access to us so that we can be brought back into the place that we were always meant to be, in a face-to-face relationship with God. And I'm telling you, man, that is, every time I talk about this, I get excited. I get overwhelmed at times because us praying, it should not be abnormal. In the same way that breathing should not be abnormal. Breathing is a natural thing. You don't even have to think about breathing. And we really should even have to think about praying because we know that he presents us to the Father in a face-to-face relationship. And when it talks about this, now David said this in Psalms chapter 141, verse 2. He said, "May my prayers be set before you like incense. May the lifting up of my hands be like the evening sacrifice." I like that. David said, "Let my prayers be before you like incense." In the 8th chapter of Revelations, it talks about how that whenever the prayers are presented, they're presented with incense. And it says that that the angel carries this big golden smoking pot full of incense, and he offers it up with the prayers. See, I believe that God can distinguish the smell of my prayer, so to speak, from the smell of your prayer. And I think it's such a pleasing aroma to him. He even commanded it to be done in the handmade or the man-made tabernacle that Moses built, because in Exodus chapter 30, verses 7 and 8, it talks about Aaron. And when Aaron, it says that Aaron, when he got up in the morning to trim the lamps, that he was also supposed to burn incense. And in the evening, when he trimmed the lamps, he was supposed to burn more incense. And it says a perpetual incense, a never-ending incense. And I really do believe that that is what God's heart is about the prayers of his people. A never-ending incense to him that always comes before him, and it's a pleasing aroma to him. I believe that when we pray, it is such a pleasing aroma to God that he gets excited about it, because you have to believe that it exists to pray. So it's an exercise of faith when we pray. It's believing God to do something on our behalf that we can't do ourselves. We can't change things that we would like to see changed, but we have a God who will listen to our prayers. It tells us that his ears are attentive to the prayers of the righteous in 1 Peter chapter 3, that his ears are attentive to our prayers. Man, I mean, he's listening to us. And when we pray and it comes up before him as this sweet aroma, it reminds of I thought about this today, and I thought this was such a wonderful thing, is that the reason that God can't deny himself is because to deny himself would be to deny us, because we were created in his image and his likeness. And whenever we pray, it comes up before him, knowing that, hey, they were created just like me. I made them to be just like me. And he operates in that realm, that we live in that realm, that we should live in that realm. Aaron was supposed to offer this up continually, perpetually, a perpetual incense before God. And when we pray, and man, think about it, God doesn't turn away from our prayers. I think that aroma comes to him, and it's very pleasing to him, and it blesses him, I believe, to no end. And not only that, but I believe that him answering those prayers is a blessing for him to be able to do that, because now he's got somebody on the earth who is calling on God to do something for him in the earth. And I believe that he does it all the time. I don't think there's ever a prayer, unless it's a prayer that's not prayed in faith. So let me clarify this. If you're starting your prayers or ending your prayers with, God, if it be your will, then you might as well forget it, because you need to know what God's will is when you pray. If you don't know what God's will is, get in the Word, find out what his will is, and then pray. Ask God to reveal his will to you and pray. But when we pray according to his will, it says he hears us in 1 John. And it says if we know that he hears us, then we know that we have what we ask of him. And I believe it pleases God when we pray. It comes up before him like an incense, and it's in a golden bowl before him. And I believe it's a treasure. I believe it's in a golden bowl because he treasures those prayers. He treasures it when we talk to him. He treasures it when we call on him. He treasures it when we rely on him. And we know that he's there for us. Well, that's all the time that I have. I wish I had a little bit more. I'd like to go into this more. I just want to thank you for joining. And if you've joined later on, we just want to know that we're here for you. If you need prayer, please comment. We will pray for you. And we know that God is on your side. God bless you.